Today I am recapping the latest episode of Drag Duel Season 3, the Drag Duel Podcast Network. I have a lot to say, so without further ado, let's get into it. So we've made it to round 5, and Robert says the King Alliance will keep getting stronger. Gwen and Heavy have a win, so he's confident he will get one soon as well. These edits kill me sometimes. Smokey feels edged by the judges, and not in the good way. She just wants a damn win already. And Neon echoes my sentiments from last week that she was robbed. She said it was soul-crushing not being in the top, and she almost quit the competition. Don't you be leaving me, Neon. So it's time for another side quest, the infamous reading challenge. Trans Jennifer cracked me up with her titanic read of Heavy Cream. And Robert saying that Smokey isn't fashionably late, she's just late? Stop. Props to Gwen's reading scavenger hunt. There were some really good reads, but I voted for Trans Jennifer. We will find out the winner next week. For this week's main round, it is a comedy challenge. Drag Duel is creating its own podcast network, and it'll be up to the Warriors to team up and create a podcast. The judges want to see originality, a logo mock-up, a title, a fun intro, and more. As the winner of last week's main round, Gwen gets the Matchmaker power-up. This gives her the ability to assign the pairs. I would say so far this is the best power-up to have. You can literally put those that are beefing together and watch the chaos ensue. And on the other side of the coin, you can put like-minded individuals together and watch them maximize their joint slay. She checks in with the Warriors first to see what they would like. And she does this because A, she wants it to be a good round, but B, if she plays dirty, it could screw her over later. And so the pairs are thus. We have Gwen with Hennessy, Robert with Heavy Cream, Neon with Alex, Smokey with Trans Jennifer, and Shafrania with Stella. As the Warriors work together, Robert opens up about the intense political climate, especially in LA where he's from. As a Latino drag artist, this has not only affected him, but his family and his community and friends. He and Heavy had to postpone their filming due to the protests that he was involved in. And I can't imagine how scary it is over there, and I hope you're all staying safe. The pairing of Trans Jennifer and Smokey seems like a match made in heaven. However, it starts to become strained when Trans Jennifer points out Smokey's control issues and her paranoia that Smokey is trying to best her. She says if Smokey wins over her, she will turn into the villain of the season. More on that later. So it's time for the Drag Duel Podcast Network. And my standouts were Gwen and Hennessy in Thespians. I love the whole theatre kid angle and the Cynthia Erivo Ariana Grande holding space of it all. Very clever. I thought Neon and Alex were absolutely hilarious. They flowed so well together. This is my kind of podcast. You know, you girls an English major. I would also subscribe to Smokey and Trans Jennifer's podcast. They know how to cut up and kiki. Both have the gift of the gab, which is essential for a pod. So category is tarot cards, and I gave my top 2 to Neo Noir. I love this beautiful interpretation of the Sun card. She nailed this from head to toe. And I just loved this runway theme in general. What a great idea. So on the judging panel this week, we have Derek and Bootsy, Hydra looking stunning, Dom Perignon reminding us all why he won the season, Miss Congeniality of Season 1 is Susan, and Mean Girls legend Daniel Francesi. First up, we have Hennessy and Gwen. Hydra said they had a really good, solid concept, but they weren't pleasant to listen to. And Daniel said it was giving unrehearsed sketch. They say that Gwen's runways are always so quirky, whimsical, and detailed. And this one was no exception. Hydra says that Hennessy had a big, grand concept, but it wasn't executed as well as it could have been. Next is Robert and Heavy. Unfortunately, they were the weakest of the lot. It felt very scripted in that they were actually looking down at their scripts, and Robert's audio was a little bit off. Hydra says it was awkward and unpleasant. But Derek absolutely loved Robert's runway, saying he is clearly a fan of tarot, and I agree. The red is very striking. Heavy Cream's runway, however, had a good concept, but they said the colours weren't matching. Now we have Neon and Alex. The judges say their characters complemented one another and they improvised well. One was the goofy girl letting go, and the other was the Type A CEO steering the ship. Bootsy says Neon's runway is her favourite so far. It was very polished, professional, and well made. Alex had a great concept and stunning makeup. I love this blue. Now we have Shafrania and Stella. Hydra said it started rough, but it ended up becoming her favourite. They had the strongest jokes and material. And Derek acknowledges that English isn't either of their first language, but they still nailed it. Hydra says that Stella's look is one of her favourite in Drag Duel history, but Shafrania's could have used some editing and polish. Last but not least, we have Trans and Smokey. Susan says she would absolutely follow their podcast, and so would I. They say Smokey really delivered, but Trans came across a little desperate at times. They also felt that she could have gone further with her runway. Smokey, however, knocked it out of the park this week, giving the judges the elevation that they wanted from her last week. And so the results are in, but first Derek asks the dreaded question, who should go home tonight and why? Stella gets mentioned the most, which was interesting given her top placement this week. And Stella says that Trans should go home. And Trans comes for her with a vengeance. Not calling her the ginger minge of the season, I died. So the tops of the week are Neon, yes, finally, Smokey, and Stella. And Smokey ends up taking the win, which we love to see. Congratulations, Diva. No more edging for you. But wait, didn't Trans Jennifer say that if Smokey won, she would turn into the villain of the season? I need to see this. Go full villain, baby. Robert and Heavy are put into the bottom two for the weakest podcast. Sadly, I agree, but I love them both. They performed to evacuate the dance floor by Cascada, and Heavy was a much stronger performer. I'm so sorry, Robert. You were outsynced. Heavy Cream ends up staying, and we say goodbye to Robert Band. All of my top three are now gone. I love Robert so much. Robert for Drag Duel All Stars. Judges, do you hear me? So next week is a Pokemon-inspired ball. This was made for me. I cannot wait. I'm going to guess that the power-up for next week is assigning the elements. So Smokey can give herself water, for example, and give fire to Neon, etc., etc. But as always, my friends, what did you think of this week's challenge? Who had your favorite runway? Give me all the tea, and I'll see you very soon for another video. I'm about to start recapping Canada 6, so you're going to want to stick around for that one.